What that say, huh, babe? Hey, wait. Just been paid 100K. That's from a one-day stay. Oh, you gonna cup the balls too? Girl, you just made my day. We just got the bonus. We don't run out of ways. Just ordered new shoes. They come right to the doorstep. Don't gotta take more than 4 steps. Build the catalog to hit Forbes next. Everywhere I go, a fortress. Like raw sex, but carry 4 tests. I'm a scientist, I'm a journalist. Fully protect the prospects. Was hung up on causality. Did we forget we are flawless? Was talking on the cordless. Soon as the cord left my mom's nest as I astro project. Ran buns on them Samsungs like a phantom of the projects. They vortex them on New Yorkness. My thoughts, they call the text from the Bronx on your chest. But I love Mets to pouring sweats and Gore-Tex. To the modern day me, more checks. What that say, huh, babe? Hey, wait. Just been paid 100K. That's from a one-day stay. Oh, you gonna cup the balls too? Girl, you just made my day. We just got the bonus. We don't run out of ways. I'm that hard to get there. She done dodged 10 days in about 10 minutes. I call shorty Memphis. That's a 10 I see. Just might rent the Benz quick for this video shoot. And some pretty hoes too. Pop out with the whole crew. Let them think we old school. Gucci links your bro suit. The balls on me, go cool. In the mirror, that's the go-to pussy. See what I got to go through. Bulls got the boat license. Got me a Snow White chick. So I flick off light switch. That pussy glow in dark. Tesla, go in the car. Wrestler, ropes on her. Kinky, ring the pinky. Every time I check up, she kings. We got a main broad who's a brainiac who could drain the sack and got a couple dingies. Some from the mainland, buns and chinky. Eyes like mine, puff stinky. Off to Montreal to Hey, what's good, everybody? So, what's going on with y'all out there? So, I want to talk. It's time to talk, right? So, check it out, right? This is, by the way, I'm just so glad. I'm thrilled that Saturn is going direct now. I don't usually talk about great things with Saturn, right? But you'd be surprised what I think about Saturn, what I perceive Saturn to be. But anyway, some things I want to talk about. I want to talk about first simulation, like life being a simulation. I don't know if you are a follower of that, reality being simulated and stuff like that, or the possibility of it being that way, right? This is not something that was always spoken about, but I recall the first time ever hearing about it, and I was like, well, it doesn't seem too weird to me, you know? So the reason why I bring this up is because decanates inside of astrology, you might have seen a couple of videos that I touch on it, to where I'm like, you know, the first 10 degrees, well, there's 30 degrees in each sign of the constellation, right? And it's split in 3 sectors. 10 degrees are allocated a piece to each sign of the element. So for example, I'm going to talk about the earth element right now, and I'm probably going to do each element so I could break it down and probably use some real world examples or even scenarios that I may, you know, bring up or whatever, make up or whatever the case may be, just to explain it thoroughly. Y'all get in the comment box, y'all let me know if y'all would like that after this video. So an example is the earth element. Since the sun is in Virgo, it's at the height of Virgo right now, right? Which is pretty much going to, in astrology, when a planet is at the height of the sign, meaning anywhere between 20 and 30 degrees, usually about 23 and up. Some people say 25 and up, but I'd say about 20. I'd say in between 20 and 30 degrees. That last sign is where you see the maturity of the sign. So the first thing that I want to break down is that, or explain to you, is that whatever sign you are, the third sign in your decanate lets you know when you're reaching the maturity level of that sign. You're still going to be ultimately you. So we're going to use Virgo as an example because the sun's in Virgo right now. The sun is about 27 degrees, possibly 28 degrees right now inside of Virgo. Now, in the order of decanates, this is how you find out the order of decanates. The order of decanates is the first 10 degrees always gets applied to the sign that the planet is in. All right. Or the first 10 degrees of the sign. We're going to leave the planets out of it for right now. But the first 10 degrees of a sign is allocated to the sign that it's in. We're speaking about Virgo now. So if the first 10 degrees is associated with Virgo completely, right? Everything is Virgo about that first 10 degrees. Now, the next 10 degrees is going to depend on where the signs are in order of the astrological wheel. So you got Virgo, then you got Libra, then you got Scorpio, then you got Sag, and then you got Capricorn. So Capricorn is the next earth element sign in the order of things. So the next 10 degrees gets allocated to Capricorn because of that. Follow me so far? Cool. So now that the sun is in between 20 and the last degree, the 30th degree of Virgo, that is going to be allocated to the planet Venus, and the planet Venus is going to be associated with Taurus, of course, right? So now when you're reading this, it's going to come out as the planets, right? So it's going to be Mercury, Saturn, and then Venus. And what you have to do at that point is associate the characteristics with the signs that are correlated with those planets, right? So we're in a very Taurus feel right now of things, right? With where the sun is anyway. So characteristics of the sun, of course, self-expression, fun, creativity, children, projects, creative projects of your own, entrepreneurship, maybe even some gambling, maybe even some romance, if you can find it in your time to do so, or maybe you have strong romantic ties. They're going to be associated with the Taurus type of feel right now, right? So, but you also got to pay attention to this. Whatever house Virgo is in is going to apply, and the characteristics of Virgo is still ultimately going to apply. So it's like this, right? With the sun being where it's at now, you will feel, and this is what I came up with, right? Like Taurus is a challenging sign to be. And when things are inside of that sign, it's a challenging place to be. And this is why. It's a personal sign, Taurus is. It's where, to me, the most selfish things take place. To me, where the most stubborn things take place as well. More stubborn than Aquarius, more stubborn than Scorpio can be, more stubborn than Leo can be. And it's ruled by Venus. So Venus being a planet that represents two people or two or more people kind of like puts Taurus and Taurus energy in a dilemma at that point, right? Because it's like, okay, you're supposed to share this reciprocal type feeling or energy with others. However, it's really about you. Like, let's just be official. It's really about you. And it must be challenging to do that. Now, at the same time, I don't think Tauruses actually think about how much they think about themselves in instances where they're sharing love with each other. I don't think they perceive it. But what happens, right, is when Virgo is around, when the sun is in Virgo, you'll be able to see it whether you're a Taurus or not. And Tauruses may not be the one to communicate it because, again, maybe they perhaps don't perceive it. And things that are Taurus about your chart, you may not be perceiving it either. But when the sun gets inside of Virgo, you should see it. So, and the reason being, this is how you can do a check factor to see if you do see it. It's like when you are exposed to interaction with you and another, or maybe in a group of three or a group of four, and your blood pressure raises, or you feel depressed all of a sudden, or, you feel drained of energy. These are all factors that signify that this feeling of reciprocity is not being distributed. You don't even got to say evenly, but it's not being distributed in a way that benefits you. So that's what the critical eye of Virgo does. And Mercury being associated with Virgo is what gets Virgos to actually speak about it, to tell you what they think about you or what they think about the situation. And it doesn't have to be heartfelt, It does kind of sound harsh sometimes. You can tell that it's being critical when they're doing this, but that's the speech part of explaining and describing things as they are, as concisely as possible, is what the Virgo element is for. Now, these things are all healthy. They all go hand in hand with the earth element, right? Because even in this order or this dial of things, it starts off in Virgo. You may speak about the things that, and this could be to others, that are healthy to you and part of your routine. It's like, as I said before, these factors that are associated with Virgo are going to be there the entire time, whether you're going through decanates or not. But it can involve other people because you want to give service to other people is what Virgo wants to do, right? So you start off there, and then you'll notice, I'm going to get to this in a minute, but then when you get to the Capricorn fold, this is where you start taking more action and the ambition starts coming around. Now, the reason why I say these things go hand in hand with each other is because Capricorn is going to take the torch sort of and say, okay, I hear what you say about the service that you want to give to people, how it can be better, right? Make it efficient, sufficient, perfect is what Virgo desires, right? Okay, and you want it to be healthy. You don't want to be worried about these certain things because you're worrying about this could happen, that could happen, that could happen. Okay, I got you, says Capricorn, right? Capricorn goes out, and Capricorn does a bunch of boss stuff, right? And just says, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, do that. People might even question, like, yo, where you going? Or what is it? Look, just do that, right? Because the ultimate thing in this order that I'm explaining, this scheme of things, is to get the type of things and obtain the type of self gratification that is needed for the Taurus to be substantiated in themselves with personal enjoyment, which can get gluttonous sometimes, right? You could feed yourself until you're all fat in the face. You could spend on yourself, splurge on yourself, go out, treat yourself, or just be good to yourself. And this is not a terrible thing. I think moderation is a factor here, of course, but that's when it goes in a cycle. It gets back to Virgo, and Virgo says, well, wait a minute. Look what you spent on food. Look at your stomach. You look sloppy now. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying? What happened to being efficient? What happened to the whole perfect thing? I thought y'all heard me the first time when I said, these are my desires. This is my routine. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm perfect in. This is what I want to do for the world. Capricorn went out and did it and obtained these things and, show the leadership and put themselves in a position to actually order things around. And then when it gets to Taurus, special care needs to be taken when things get to the Taurus part, this part that we're in right now. Because when you find yourself in situations that you are alone, right? Taurus represents the second house. It represents personal attachments, your personal well-being, your materialistic attachments as well. If Taurus is not happy and comfortable in that area, then it's going to be challenging for them to love. It's going to be challenging for them to reciprocate the heights of Venus. Now, Libra, on the other hand, has a better ability to do that because Libra is a sign that represents two or more people. You understand what I'm saying? And this is why I said being the Taurus is challenging, or things where Taurus is in your chart is challenging, because it's like a protected thing. So now I understand better why Tauruses don't like to speak much about the things that are bothering them until it's like their temperature is way through the roof. Because it's a selfish thing. It's just like, oh, well, I don't got to tell you what I don't like about you, or what, you don't like, what I think you don't like about me, or when I do speak, I could do it in a sort of way that doesn't kind of like out me or whatever the case may be, or so they believe. And it's just like, I wish you would speak more, if coming from a Virgo earth element perspective, saying, look, if you spoke more about what you felt, then we can go out there. We can use the Capricorn element, part of the element, to go out there and obtain the proper things for you after an assessment is made. You know what I'm saying? But the Taurus part of our charts, we can get so lazy. We can get so comfortable. We can get so stuck in our own ways that the Venus aspect of it, the Venus planet is just stuck on self. Now, this is just an explanation of this. This is just a description of this, right? Now, who's to say what's right or wrong here? Who's to say what's right or wrong? Like, I'm not even saying what's right or wrong here. This is just a description of it, right? Us as individuals, we have to determine what's right or wrong about it, right? Us as the individuals, we have to take the Virgo element, the Virgo part of the decanates and say, is it too much? Is it just enough? Is it not enough? Okay, what do we need more? What do we desire more? Capricorn element goes out and gets it done. Gets it done, or at least initiates it and sets it in motion for it to occur. And then when we get to Taurus, if we are not happy with ourselves, and this goes for planets, because as planets moves, what I'm about to get to, as planets move through these degrees, you will see through your experiences and through your interactions, all of these things that I'm telling you happen. And this is why I started off by saying simulation, because this whole simulation theory is like, okay, it's a program. We're on a program, a designed program. And the only way that you can hide from it, right? Because if you think I'm joking, I'm gonna give you the keys to how to go out there and find this stuff out. And after watching this, you could probably, if you've been out and about somewhere and talking to people today, you're probably going to come to terms with what I'm saying is correct. You're gonna be like, oh, I just experienced something just like that. And you're gonna be able to give yourself a self-description and analysis, excuse me. So when these planets move through the end, the Taurus is not comfortable with themselves. At the end of the day, there's going to have to be some checking going on, because the planets moving through, as I said before about the simulation, it's like we're on a program that's designed, right? And the way that we act it out is by moving through the universe. Every single interaction that you see, the person riding by on a bike, look, the moon, I'll give you an example very quick. The moon is in the Libra part of Gemini right now. Because remember I said decanates, right? So the first 10 degrees goes to Gemini, the second 10 degrees goes to Libra, and the third degrees go to Aquarius. So the moon is about maybe 16, 17 degrees inside of Gemini right now, meaning it's attributed to the Libra sign. The smallest things will show you things about relationships, two or more people, right? But definitely in a mutual agreement, not like the Taurus, right? So I got to experience the sun and the moon, the sun being inside of the Taurus part of Virgo and the moon being inside the Libra part of Gemini. I looked out my window, I seen two people communicating, they were a couple. Canoodling, I think that's the word, right? Being romantic with each other, you know what I mean? And you know, I was like, oh, there it goes. There goes the simulation. You know what I'm saying? And but I was observing it from a Virgo's perspective. Ultimately, Virgo, right? Sun is in Virgo, but it's ultimately also in Taurus. It's in the Taurus part of Virgo. So I'm looking at myself like, well, I'm alone on some Taurus type thing right now, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just pleasuring myself. I just heated up a big plate of food, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm enjoying myself. I'm doing the things that I love. I'm doing the things that I enjoy, because as I said before, ultimately it's still Virgo time. You know what I'm saying? So you're really going to be like, well, is it healthy to do X, Y, and Z? Or looking out the window, you know, should I go try to go on a date right now? Or, you know what I mean? These things may cross one's mind. At the same time, when you do those health checks that's associated with Virgo, you start to ponder and you wonder, like, okay, maybe not. Maybe you toy with it. Maybe you want to experiment. Maybe you just put yourself out there. Maybe you text somebody, right? And you put yourself out there just to see and test the field. And if it works, you're like, oh, okay, this is great. You see how the moon, the mind, focused on the Libran part of relationships and stuff like that. Because the mind associated with the moon, you see how it correlates with the sun being in Taurus. You get some type of self-gratification out of it. And if not, then the sun is probably more powerful in that aspect, because you rather be alone, or you rather do the things that you love, or the things that make you feel good. You might just eat and sleep or watch movies and stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that it's all Tauruses do, but you just may be in that type of feel. But ultimately, as I said, the sun is in Virgo. So I decided to put my work, my service to use. You understand what I'm saying? Make a video, create a video, and talk to you guys about it. So I look at you guys with the moon being in Libra. I look at you guys as my relationships. And I say this with even more emphasis because this is a business relationship, whether you want to admit to it or believe it or not. You know what I'm saying? It ranges from me partnering with YouTube. Or I could say it even begins there, partnering with YouTube, and then extensively making money from advertisers who advertise on my videos on YouTube. It extends even more by consumers, which would be viewers, which would be you guys and subscribers and stuff who purchase products and readings and stuff like that, so on and so forth. You get what I'm saying? So that's 7th house. That's Libra. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a simulation. When you see this stuff happen, it's a simulation. Like you see it from your own. It's like you got a movie theater built inside of your body. So this is the beginning things that you take on when you start looking at decanates and you see the program. This is the major point I want to make here. You see the program being acted out, unless you just close your eyes and or close yourself off, cage yourself in, shut off all forms of communication. And sometimes that's healthy too. And if that's what you need, speaking about Virgo, for your health, then do that by all means. As I've said, it's not a right or wrong thing, a good or bad thing. You be the determiner of that. You be the judge of that, right? But the major thing here is to understand that it is a design. If you go outside right now, you'll see the design unfold. And you'll be like, you can be in awe of it. And then it makes you think, well, who designed this? Why is it so powerful? How is it so powerful? How excited do you get by it, by knowing this, or is it creepy? Right? Because you may question it even more and just be like, well, I can't necessarily change this, can I? I mean, how do you do? I mean, my whole experience today brought me back to decanates. I said, yo, let me even go read some more about decanates after this, because as I'm experiencing life today, I just kept seeing flashes of decanates. And I'm like, well, hold on, going to my phone. Where's the moon at? What degrees exactly is all of this stuff occurring? And it really helped me in decision making and everything, the interactions, the discussions I was having, meeting people. You know how, and Libra energy is pretty awesome too. You know how you can meet people brand new right on the spot, and at first y'all just don't hit it off. Y'all got like this energy, and then you finally meet up because you have to, right? It's a contractual agreement. You have to meet up. You have to do this. And then you meet up with them and you like, yo, you cool, man. Like, yo, everything is like, yo, I'm glad this happened. You know what I'm saying? Everything happens for a reason, and this, that, and there, X, Y, Z. But that correlation comes from, okay, this doesn't sound too healthy right now. The Virgo analysis. This interaction doesn't sound healthy. One of us, and this is what you got to do. Virgo get the rap for being critical and even hypercritical. However, it's like, it's intuition on steroids. It's like an external type of intuition. It's not intuition, it's outtuition with Virgo. It's just like, oh, I just heard a tone in this type of acceleration. This means that you feel this way. You could try to lie to me about this, but you can't get away with this lie. Like, this is something that is factual, right? But, I don't have to point this out to you because, as I said, the moon is inside of this part of Gemini that is Libran, right? So Librans want to be cool. They want to be congenial. They want to say, well, hey, let's work this out. We have to anyway. This is a contractual agreement. So, whoa, buddy, this is how I was carrying out my day. Like, all right, listen, all right, we got to get this done. That whole Virgo mentality, it has to be done. So let's slow down, find out what the issue is, address it, eradicate it, and then do what we have to do. And that's exactly what happened today. Exactly how it went down and everything. Now, it takes two. Sometimes you got to think for people. It's like the other day, somebody stepped on my sneaker in a pizza shop. So I looked, and somebody else was in the pizza shop too, and they looked at us, and they looked at me. I looked at them, and they was like, it's a violation. But sometimes we got to think for other people. And I was like, yeah, you right. Like the person next to me, they didn't even speak the language. They didn't speak English or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they had a few in them or whatever the case may be. So I just looked at it like, just because it's just like, your health, everything, all of that is being assessed. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, really, my sneaker, like, I'm not one of those dudes that'll drop something over a sneaker. You know what I'm saying? But it did disturb me. It did. And dude next to me, he could tell. He was just like, yo, like, but like I'm saying, you will know, you will see the simulation play out. You will know when it's time to express yourself, to be critical, so people understand what they're doing. Not necessarily to you, but what they're doing. That makes it seem, and it doesn't even make it seem. Let me use the correct wording. What makes it what it is. Sometimes people want to avoid the energy that they put out. And it's just like, no, you cannot do that. Because the Virgo energy is going to remind you about it. The Virgo energy is going to bring it up. The Virgo energy is going to discuss it. And it's healthy, though, to address these types of things, especially when the moon gets in the part of Libra, because this is a contractual agreement. Our livelihoods depend on this, right? Because again, if the sun is in Virgo and the moon is in the air sign, communication is key for us to obtain the things that make us feel pleasured, that makes us feel good. At the end of the day, with the sun being in the height of Virgo at Taurus, we must communicate so I can get home and you can get home and we can be pleasured with the things that we've done today and pleasured with the things that we accomplished and achieved today. So I'm going to get back to you guys. Probably going to do every element because I think it can help. What do you guys think? I think it can. But that might be my selfish take on it, right? Because the sun is in the height of Virgo right now. So I'm going to use the moon being inside of Virgo right now. Inside of the Libra part of Gemini. Well, if you see this video immediately, then that's where the moon will still be. To discuss it with you guys and negotiate a bit, 7th house stuff, Libra house stuff, and see what it is. Because believe it or not, all of y'all help me get money, man. Y'all help me get paid. So, this is my service to you. This is what I do. So I'll be back with what element, I don't know. I'll surprise you.